All right, so I'll just start it up.
We can say this is like a pilot. This is a beta. This is a beta.
Right, this is a beta to
A podcast beta.
an actual release. This is a what do they call those? Early access or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to SPR Presents Real Talk. My name is Justin. You might know me from the SPR podcast. That's usually on Sundays. I'm with Tony, who's also from that podcast.
Hello.
And we wanted to take the time to actually do like a full discussion about the Nintendo Switch, because it has definitely been a very successful thing since it came out. So we figured we'd get like really down and dirty and talk about that Nintendo Switch and what our thoughts about and past, present, and future. So basically right away, just what's your overall, you have one, I don't. So let's get that out of the way. I want one, obviously, but what's your thoughts on it? Because I know you didn't get it at launch, you got it eventually afterwards.
Yeah, like a month or two after. Like a month after.
Yeah, I think it was like April.
I really, which I've mentioned on the podcast before, is I really love it. I don't know what it is. Like, I haven't had the urge to buy like a handheld at all. Like, I wanted a Vita just to have like to play indie games and stuff, but I've never had to like the urge to like, all right, I'm just gonna go get one. That has not kicked in at all. And like, I have had no urge to buy any DS at all. But I don't know what it is about the Switch. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it just has a cool factor to it too, also. And maybe it is just the fact that I can play it here and I can take it with me. But then to say that, I mean, I could say that with, a Vita or a DS. So I don't know. Maybe as we talk, maybe I'll figure that out.
Right. Do you when you're at home, do you play on the TV more or do you play like handheld?
I barely play in the docked mode. I would say maybe 10% since I've had it. So
see, I think that would be the same for me. I think maybe not for like, well, see, I don't know. I think that's the same thing with me too. Is like with like when the 3DS came out, I was like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll get one, and I just never did because I was like, I won't play it. I play home console mostly. So it's like I'm never like on a train or on a bus or like when I drive places. So it's like I can't play and drive. So I'm always like handheld. Maybe like if I play it before bed or something. But it's like I've always been like But like for some reason, like you said, the Switch is like different. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the actual like quality of the games and stuff is like on par of what you're used to or what the deal is. But Vita was kind of like that too. But and like Vita kind of did the same thing with PS4, but like I think Switch just made it so easy to do it that they're just like it just caught on. And Nintendo's always been great with handheld, so I think that.
Now, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was actually done.
No, like I've been trying to read and find out, and I never got a clear answer. Is the Switch more powerful than a Vita? Or
that's actually a good question. I was looking at like a comparison earlier of all the different consoles, and it had Switch on there, and Switch was definitely less powerful than like even the PS4 or the Xbox, like the original Xbox One. So, but didn't have Vita on there. So actually, I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say that it's maybe a little more powerful than the Vita at the very least, just because. I don't know. In the docked mode, I know some stuff runs at 1080. I don't know if did Vita run games at like 1080 even.
That I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Hold on, actually, I can look this up real quick.
I think the screen might have been 720. I think.
Yeah, Vita versus Switch. Let's see. Because
I do know that the Switch is based off those. Remember those NVIDIA shields?
Yes,
I think that is basically what it is.
The Switch, you said, or the Vita?
The Switch.
Yeah, because it's got that Tegra, the NVIDIA Tegra chip, and that's like I think it's the same thing. It's in those shields.
Yep.
Power.
I remember when it first came out, people were making a big stink because I guess the second generation of that chip, the Tegra, like the second generation, like came out right before the Switch came out, or it came out like And I guess people didn't realize, you got to R&D that stuff, before you just put it in a system.
Okay, so what this basically says is that the Vita's like its innards are comparable to like an iPad 3, whereas the Switch is more in the ballpark and actually a little bit ahead of an Xbox 360. So based on that, they're kind of making it seem like the Switch is definitely more powerful. So at least with like graphics and stuff. So which makes sense, I guess. So yeah, I can see that because just even see that Super Mario Odyssey stuff. I was like, well, that actually looks pretty good. They've always done a good job though, even though they're usually the more underpowered thing of the three, although they don't really compete with those two anyways. But they've always made their stuff look better than what you think it would look.
Yeah.
Like even on the Wii U, I remember thinking when I had that I was like, man, this looks really good. Like Mario Kart, even on that was like looked really, really good. And I was like, this looks just as good as the some of the Xbox One stuff or even the PS4.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Because even like I've been playing Mario Kart. I've played a little Mario Kart on my TV, and it looks beautiful. And it's actually running at 60 frames per second too. So
I know that's actually the funniest part is that it actually does that stuff. Yeah.
And current gen consoles can barely do that.
Right. I know. It's like, what's going on there? Yeah, but overall, like I pre-ordered it immediately when it was available for pre-order, and then I just ended up canceling just because I was more nervous about like what was coming. I probably could have, and I knew that I couldn't wait till E3 because it was obviously coming out in March. So I was like, well, by end of summer they'll be back in stock and I can get one. So plus I wanted to get the the X. So I was like, well, I don't know I'm gonna come up with money for that, but so I canceled my pre-order at that time. But all I did was trade in my Wii U and all the games I had for it. So it really was paying for each other. So because that was the thing about Nintendo stuff is that it holds its value like really, really good. Like their games, they never price drop. They're like first party stuff. So like a lot of those games, I still got like $20-$30 for trade, and they were like, however many years old. Like so, but yeah, like I definitely want to get one now. Now that I've seen Odyssey, now that E3 is come and gone, and they've shown okay, like next year and the year, going forward, we got plenty of stuff to play. That's and Nintendo's always been great with first party games. So, kind of like you were saying, I think on the one podcast where we were talking about the Switch, like I was just like, I was never like die hard into Nintendo ever. Like the last thing I think I had that was like die hard into it was the GameCube. Yeah. Like I had a Wii, but I really didn't play it that much. Wii U didn't really play it that much. And this seems like something's like, okay, I could see this actually being something that I actually use regularly.
Yeah. Do you think like the appeal now with it is also because it is like you just talking about like you even saying yourself like after the GameCube, that's when you kind of fell off because that's when I fell off. Do you think the appeal is like because it is more of a traditional and when you think about it, it really is a traditional console, with a left-right joystick, just buttons. It has motion controls, but it's very simple.
Yeah. No, actually, that's probably actually pretty close to it because obviously the original Wii was, all the waggle controls and all that stuff. And while it was really cool at first, when you're like, wow, this is cool. After a while, like there was just so much like shovelware and games that were just kind of like garbage and just stuff that was like it didn't need to have those controls. So then you're just like, well, whatever, I don't really want to play this. And then like Wii U, they were trying to make like a 3DS but at home because the screen here and the screen here, and they were like they always were talking about kind of doing the same thing you do with the Switch on a smaller scale, just like within your house, being like, oh, turn this off from TV to put it on the screen so I can play it here. Yeah. But it didn't work on every game super well because I forgot what game. There was one game I was going to do it with, and I remember it was like, that's not an option on this game. I'm like, well, it kind of needs to be an option on every game, or does not an option because it's kind of hard to, if you have to look up constantly, okay, how do I get? And it was always different. It wasn't like a simple button you hit always. It was sometimes you had to go into options and say, all right, put this on this screen. It was always, whereas the Switch, I think they got that right, where like literally you just pull it out and it's done. Like, okay, you're in handheld mode. It's not difficult at all. It's easy to figure out.
Yeah. And that did seem like magic when that happened. Cause like I put it in like, oh, it's on my TV, and I pull out. And I'm like, I pull it out and I'm like, okay, went right back there. I was like, huh, that's kind of awesome. And like, didn't the like I said, I never had a Wii or a Wii. Did the Wii U? It didn't store anything on the actual like gamepad. It was all streamed to it, right?
There was like it had like its own like box. It almost looked like the Wii, except it was a little bit longer, and which was really kind of an odd shape. It was like it looked like a normal like Wii, but
Like
except it was just like further back,
like a CD
and
drive.
everything was on there. But and then the tablet was just separate, and you just charged that on a charging thing, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got the Mario Kart 8 bundle is what it was, because I started seeing stuff, I started getting really good reviews, and I was just like, I think it was like about the middle of when the Wii U was out. Like it was after, I know it had been out at least a year or two, and I was just like, well, there's enough games for this now. Like the Wind Waker remake had come out, and there was a few other stuff, and I was just like, all right, well, it was like they had just price dropped it, and like I said, it came with like Mario Kart and an extra not Joy-Con, the Wii controller, because that still worked with it. So, and I was just like, all right, I'll bite. So, I mean, it was the games I played on were fun. Like Mario Party was super fun with the amiibos. That was kind of cool. Although that almost got out of hand real quick with the amiibos because they're pretty cool. But so I was like, oh wait, this one works with this game. Oh, okay. And then Super Smash. Oh, this one works. Oh, I definitely got to have Samus. Oh, I got to have Roy from, it's like, so yeah, I got. Yeah. For a while, me and my wife were both just like, we got to get all of them. And then like we're like, wait, this is going to cost way too much money.
Yeah. I've seen a few now.
They did.
Yeah, I've seen a few now. Like I know for I don't know if it's for Metro Prime or for the Metroid on the DS. They're having two amiibos come out. One's like a little Metroid.
Yep.
And then I think one is Samus. But the Metroid is like actually like mushy. You can like squeeze it, and I'm like, that looks so cool. And I was like,
right.
I would never use it, but I just like it looks so cool. It's just like a little action figure, like a little toy, basically.
Right, yeah, that's what's kind of cool about them. That I always like, because like, well, even if I don't actually end up using these down the road, it's kind of like something I could display, like kind of like a pop or whatever. Just be like, hey, with your other stuff that you got like that, and just be like, oh, there you go. It's just a statue of a Nintendo character.
Yeah. I agree. Let me see. Sorry, I get here's the notes. My notes, like I didn't have my phone near me. So like what? Do you think like nowadays it really even matters? Like since the Switch is not as powerful as like a PS4 or Xbox One, like what's the question I'm trying to add? Like, do you think just the appeal of it being handheld is what's like the fact that they can dock it and make it handheld? Like that's kind of what's the appeal of it, or like what's because as of right now, I heard like last month, I think PS4 is the top selling console and Switch was second. But a lot of people are saying that it's just because you can't find us, like they haven't been making enough.
Right.
And if they were making enough, it would probably easily have outsold PS4. It's still been number one. I think it's been number one since it came out, minus May. So like, what is the? Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know. Like, I almost feel like Nintendo just doesn't even care what Microsoft or Sony does in a way, in some respects. And I think the reason why people are just liking it so much is, for one, Zelda has just been a true system seller. And I also kind of feel like some of these indie games that came out even like 2-3 years ago that no one really thought, like, even checked out back then, they're now checking them out now and realizing they're actually like good. Like, this is actually a good game. And I think just being able to like, if I want to play this on my TV, I have that option. If I want to just lay in bed or lay on the couch and play it right here, that's another option. So it's like I said, like Zelda is a perfect example of that. Like where you could usually handheld Zelda games aren't like 3D open world adventures. Like that's like kind of the first time that's ever happened for Zelda. So that's kind of cool. And you can take it on the go. It's like, well, sign me up. Because for people that do like have to take a train or have time where they just, can't really be using a TV, you still can play your games. Or like they kind of showed like on an airplane, for instance, like, okay, you can have the two Joy-Cons and just set it up on the tray table and just kind of play Zelda. Like if I was going on a plane, I would totally want to do that. So, so as far as like compared to like Sony and Microsoft, I just think like Sony and Microsoft, you don't have that option at all. It's like literally, it's there. Yes, that you can play. They're gonna, with the X and the Pro, 4K and all this fun stuff. But I just think Nintendo doesn't care about that type of stuff. Like power, they're just like fun way of playing games and just let you do what you want to do. So I think that they have that advantage. Plus, like I said earlier, Nintendo is just, when it comes to the handhelds, they just have always owned that. Like PlayStation tried it a few times and they had good options. Like PSP was cool. I had that when that came out. I never got a Vita, but I've always heard that's a great system. So it's just one of those things where I just feel like Nintendo just knows what they're doing when it comes to that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think, not to get off of Nintendo, and we'll kind of to get off a little bit, but stay on it. Do you think if the Vita would have been more successful if they had more first party support? 'Cause I feel they had a lot of first party support at the beginning, but then after a while, it basically just became an indie machine. Do
Yep.
you think that's like that? Do you think that's what doomed the Vita? And also, you think that's the fact that the Switch basically is a indie as of right now, it has more indie games than Nintendo games. But you think the fact that they do have Zelda, Mario Kart, they had Arms just come out, and maybe a Smash Brothers down the line, that they have those solid games, that's helping it, and would that have helped the Vita if it like still had solid first party support?
Honestly, yeah. To be honest, because like at the beginning they did, because they had that Uncharted game. I forgot the name of it
Yeah,
was, but Golden something. But
Golden Abyss.
yep, Golden Abyss. That was it. And like I know people said like it wasn't the best representation of Uncharted, but it was still good. Like it was still good enough, especially on the go. So, and another thing I feel like people didn't really take advantage of maybe as much or talk about as much was like the fact that you could do like the share thing where you could do that with the Wi-Fi or whatever, however that worked.
The remote, like the remote play.
Yeah, remote play. That's the word.
It was like a Switch, but not a Switch.
Yeah, it was like a Switch, but just like a little more complicated. And I think just some people just didn't either A, know it was existed, or B, was just like, it's too complicated. So, yeah, I definitely think if they would have had like more first party support, that would have definitely helped. I'm trying to think like what other games they could have put on it, but like, maybe even like I don't know, did they ever have an Infamous game or anything for that?
No, I think they had a Resistance game, a Killzone game. I think there was a Call of Duty game on there, like a special Call of Duty on there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I remember that.
I think that was really it. And then I think at that point it just became indie games and like JRPGs, which I mean,
that's the thing. Then it became like that hardcore audience thing. But then like at that point, yeah,
but I mean the people who that audience, they still love the Vita a lot. And they,
right.
Like Greg Miller would say, like, are they going to announce? Are they going to say something about the Vita at E3? Are they going to mention it at all? And granted, we never really hear about it anymore, but that follow, like, it has a strong following still.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where like the people that discovered it and actually like got it and stuck with it have been like, oh, this is actually like a really good handheld console. But I just feel like a lot of people just didn't go that route, because the 3DS was just so popular back then and was constantly releasing first party games for it, that people were just like, oh, well, I can play Zelda and Mario and this and this and this and this, and then just were like, oh, whatever, and just moved on. And they still got some JRPGs on that as well. So it's like, I think Xenosaga and stuff like that, like Fire Emblem. I'm sure that was Fire Emblems and stuff. So, yeah. So I don't know. The Vita is like just a weird thing like that. I don't know. To be honest, it was almost like the Switch before the Switch in a kind of weird way. Yes, basically, you kind of had to have like, because with the remote play and then like what it produced, like the games that were on it looked about on par with like the 360 and PS3. I mean, I know it said something about an iPad 3, but it looked pretty good. It was good enough to where you're on the go for that little screen. Because it had that OLED screen too, so that was one of at least the first one. Then they it
was like LCD, or whatever. The second one, but man, so I lost my train of thought for a second. Justin vamp for me while I get my train of thought.
So yeah, like the Switch is real cool.
But yeah, like man, it's just so crazy how, like you were saying, they are very similar. And if you let's take it out as like a console, as a docked console, and just as a handheld, like they're so similar. Like the only real difference I can see from them is the controllers detach.
Yeah,
and I think that's something I want to. Well, we're not on Facebook, are we?
No.
Okay, good. My boss will never see this. So like, but just like the fact of like, there's been times at lunch at work, I've like. There's been times at lunch at work, like at my desk, I'll like use the kickstand, I'll take the Joy-Cons off, and like me and a coworker will play Mario Kart. And like even my coworker, he's like, oh man, what's the point about this Switch thing? He likes Nintendo, but he's like, well, what's the point? Like when he played it, he was like, man, this is so cool. He's like, this is awesome. And like just the fact that you can like, and I've seen like I've seen like people tweet about like they'll be at a bar
Hmm.
and they just pop the Joy Cons out and like, they'll play like a multiplayer game real quick, or like they play like Street Fighter, a quick game of Street Fighter. I think that's really been a cool like appeal of the system.
Yeah,
Just the fact you can do
definitely.
multiplayer.
Like, think
Yeah.
about Super Smash Brothers, even. Like, if you could just be like, "Hey, remember Super Smash Brothers from back in the day?" Like, because like some people that like are more casual gamers, like they don't, maybe they haven't played Super Smash Bros. Since like Nintendo 64 or something, or even GameCube. You're like,
Mhm.
"Hey, remember Nintendo 64? You know that game?" They're like, "Oh yeah." And it's like, "Well, here, let's play." Like, I don't know how they're gonna do the controls on that, but I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just to be like even yeah, like or like, hey, remember that Mario 64? Or like Mario,
Yeah.
like Super Mario Kart, the original on Super Nintendo. Like, hey, we can just play that right now. I'm like, what? How? And you just take the Switch out, snap the Joy Cons off. I'm like I think like for like the mainstream, that's a very appealing thing to do.
Yeah, because I know originally when they first like revealed it, some people were kind of skeptical that people would actually do that, like take it with them places and actually like pop the Joy Cons and actually play in like a set, with a few friends or whatever. But
Yeah.
like people are actually doing that. Like so that's like I think people are like oh no, people are just gonna not do that. Like that'll never happen. I remember some people saying like I remember if it was IGN or wherever I was watching the coverage, but there's like no one's ever gonna do that. Well, but people are definitely doing that. So
Yeah.
it's like a really cool like because like Mark, my friend Mark has one, and he brought over the one time. I was like, damn, that's like really cool. Like in the Joy-Con, it feels a little small, but it's not so small where you're like, oh, this sucks. It's like to play Mario Kart, I was fine. Like you're not
Yeah.
supposed to sit and play for hours and hours and hours anyway. So
Yeah.
it's just really cool.
Yeah. And like it is very funny, like you were saying. Like I do remember people like jokingly like with the Switch announcement video with like the guy, he takes his dog out for a walk and he takes the Switch with him, or like the girl, she's at home and then she goes like on a rooftop party and plays it, and people like, are people really gonna be doing that? And it is one of those rare cases where like people actually do it. Like all that stuff that they showed in that video,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's doing. And it's just cool. Like you go on a road trip. Like if I was a kid and like say me and my cousin went like we all went on like a trip somewhere, we could just put the Switch in the back seat and like play that on the way. Like the thought of that as a kid, that would like blow my mind. That me and him could just play like a multiplayer game in the back seat of a car during a road trip. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't even think about that actually. Like back in the day, that would have been like really nice because like
Yeah.
what's the usually I mean I guess now there's iPads and stuff like that, but I'd probably much rather play something with like a controller and stuff than an iPad or an iPhone game or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was actually yeah, like I said, I even was like, I bet you people won't do that. And then, yep, nope, people are doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
it works really well because literally it's like, okay, you put this, you do this, you do that, and you're all right, you're playing games like with people and you have a controller and it
Mm-hmm.
does have the motion controls, which is nice. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know many games yet. I know that 1-2 Switch uses it, but
Yeah.
there's not like, and I know Mario Kart does, but I only knew it did that because it was on by default or whatever. And I'm like, why the
Yeah.
fuck am I leaning to the right? Like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? Why do I keep hitting the wall when I'm going
Yeah.
straight? Like,
Yeah, that happened twice with my coworker at work. Like we were playing, and he's like, because first I got freaked out because he was like, Tony, your controller's messed up. It's not. He's like, the controller's messed up, and it's because you see the Mario variant. And then when we went to Steven's house, Brandon had the red controller, and it was doing the same thing. I was like, what the hell? And then like after I grabbed it, I was like, oh, it's motion sense. It's a motion. Oh, so
yeah, same thing happened to me. I was just like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, I keep swearing the right. He's like, and then Mark was like, pause it. And I'm like, I paused and I saw it. Oh, okay. So turn that off. And then, oh, no, yeah, we're fine now. So,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. To go back to something you were saying earlier about like the Vita and the Switch, do you think that like it helped Nintendo because I feel like nowadays they're kind of known more as a handheld company? Because like the consoles, like everybody kind of says, oh, the Wii U flopped, and like the Wii, I think the Wii is the most successful console. Like sell like
I believe so. I believe that's the case. I don't know. I
I
know
mean
they
not
said
critic.
PS4 was on like pace to
Mhm.
beat it, but I don't think it did. Yeah,
Okay,
at
I
least.
mean just for Nintendo, like
Yeah,
out of
for
all,
Nintendo, yeah, Wii was definitely the best selling thing they've ever put out
yeah, yeah,
as far as
yeah,
consoles.
yeah. But like I don't know, I just feel like I never really hear a bad thing about their handhelds.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing is like that. To be honest, that was one thing that I'm actually, whether this is a side point or whatever, but I'm kind of surprised they're still pushing the 3DS like they are.
I mean,
I
isn't it
mean,
selling?
because I kind of feel like the Switch is like the best of both worlds in a way, and the game, it's more powerful than a 3DS. Now I understand the appeal to 3DS for some people because it's a little bit smaller and it's a little bit, probably the battery life is better, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it already has like a huge library, but I was kind of just like, I'm surprised Nintendo wouldn't just be like, I mean, I know it's sold a ton and it still sells well, I'm sure, but it's one of those things where I'm like, like that like for instance, that new Metroid game for the 3DS, that Samus Returns, like,
Yeah.
I really wish that was on the Switch because like it looks really cool, but I'm not gonna buy a 3DS to play it.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. So, I mean, like you said, like before the Switch came out, the talk everyone was saying is like, oh, I wish Nintendo would just stop making console games and just make handheld stuff and then make stuff for Xbox, like be kind of like third party and make Xbox and PS4 stuff for the console stuff. And then like all of a sudden now that like has completely died down. No one's talking about that anymore. Like the Switch is a success. So it's like,
it's kind of the reverse now. Everybody's like, because every time I see a game announced, they're like, is that coming to the Switch? Like,
and actually on that same point, like there's games that like I've seen a lot with mostly with indie games, but a lot of indie games are like, they'll be like, oh, hey, we're working on a Switch version now. Like, oh, we're gonna make a Switch version of this. Like Rhyme, I know was one where I don't know if it came out or not yet, but
no, I don't think
so. I think it's into summer or something. But like systems that or games that weren't even gonna be on Switch, well, now all since a success, and they're like, oh, like they see like what happened with like Binding of Isaac, for instance. Like that game was kind of like no one was talking about it, and then people were like, well, I'm kind of done with Zelda. I kind of want something else to play.
Yeah.
Oh, let's look on the eShop. Oh, this is here, and like it's almost like in a weird way, it's like they took a Vita and like a tablet almost, and just kind of like boop, like just put them together, put controllers on the side of a tablet, kind of like that NVIDIA Shield or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but yeah, you can also just put on this dock and boom, it's on your TV. You can play on your TV if you really want to, and then we got a controller for that. Or you could do this, or you could like they just give you options, and I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because I agree with you totally about the like just seeing an indie game on there. Because every Friday I'll look and see the recent releases, and I seen like I bought a game on Tuesday called Cave Story, which I've heard of it.
Yep, I've heard of that. Yeah,
like I've heard of it so many times, and everybody says good things about it, and I just never really cared to play it, or I've just never really like, okay, it's on Steam or it's on my PS4 or Xbox. But then like I see it on my Switch, I'm like, you know what, that looks cool. I need to play it. I'll play it now. I can play it handheld, And so that like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I know it's the weirdest thing because, like you said, it's like if all this stuff was coming to 3DS, I wouldn't give two craps. But like,
I wouldn't care either. Yeah.
The Switch, it's just I don't know what it is that it makes me want to be like, because like I don't even really know how. I would probably use it more handheld. Just because, like, it'd just be cooler just to sit in my recliner and just be like, all right, just going to play this here, put something on the TV, do this, do that. Okay, whatever. Don't, like, just kind of just, I think that's, like, one of the cool things about it is just, like you said, the options. But, like, I don't know. They've somehow, like, I feel in a weird way, they've sold handheld to home console users. And we were, like, saying, like, you don't have to do handheld, but you can. Like, almost kind of like, we're going to give you that option to do it. But, like, if you don't want to, you can still do it like you always have done and just play on your TV. But if you don't want to, if all of a sudden you decide, I'm going to go to bed, but I don't want to go to bed. I just want to kind of play games and just relax before I go to bed, you can do that too. So it's almost like they're trying to ease people into handheld, maybe in a weird way. I don't know what their future plans are, but, like, they're like, hey, why don't you just try handheld? If you want. You still can do TV, but whatever.
Yeah. I've thought of that, of, like, at this point, do we like when they release the next thing, is it a Switch type thing, or is it like they do something? Because at this point, Nintendo's done something different each new console. But like at this point, I don't know if I could go back to them having a like PS4 Xbox console. I feel like at this point they have to keep it to this. And like, do they make it at this point like they do? Not kind of like I guess kind of like a Pro X kind of thing. Do they do that at this point?
That was when I was thinking, like maybe in like 2-3 years, they're just like, okay, here's the Switch Pro or whatever. And it's like it's the same, but it's different. It doesn't do 4K, and the tablet now has a better screen, and that's 4K on the go kind of thing. Like maybe something like that. But
like the DS.
Like,
Because
I've always just feel like lately, like ever since like the Wii came out, Nintendo's just like, I think they just feel like we don't need to compete with Xbox or PlayStation. We can just do it, like just do what we're doing. And because like everyone's always like, oh, well, they don't have third parties, they don't have this, they don't have that, this, that. But like Switch is still fine without it. I mean, it would be nice because like I just think about like playing like something like Destiny 2, or I'm sure some people with like Call of Duty, or I'm trying to think of other games, but like some of the third party stuff that like, you know, whether you're PlayStation or Xbox, it doesn't matter, you can play it. It'd be kind of cool to be like, oh, I'm playing Destiny 2. Okay, well, we got to go somewhere. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go take the Switch with me, and you know, I can play here. But you know, that would be cool. But maybe with the success, those will come like next year. Maybe next year we'll start seeing like, oh, hey, you know what? This is actually making a ton of money. We don't want to miss out. So okay, Call of Duty is now on Switch. This is on Switch. This is on Switch. So
yeah, I feel like nowadays, like when you say about the third parties, like they don't, like you said, they don't really need them because they have the indie. Like the indie games is basically their third parties. They're like the, you know, well, while you're waiting for Mario, here's like 10 really cool indie games, and like even though you probably played them already, but now you can play them on the go. Because like I'm definitely gonna buy Rocket League again. Well, I mean, I got it for free on PS Plus, but I'm definitely buying that game on my Switch just to have it mobile, you know. So let me see.
right, yeah, I don't absolutely, yeah. But what was my train of thought? No, I forgot my train of thought.
It's easy when there's a third when there's like a third or fourth person here.
Exactly.
So wait, what? So to kind of at least go back to the topics we had, like, what are like? Do you think the Switch is mainstream right now? Like, you hear a lot of people in games talk about it, but like, I think that's what made the Wii so successful. Like a friend of ours, Brittany, she does not really care about video games, but they had a Wii and they used it. Granted, they used it for like Wii Sports and like Wii Fit and Rock Band, but still, they still had one. Like, what do you think this? Well, first, do you think the Switch is in the mainstream? And if not, what does it need to do to kind of get itself there?
I honestly think right now it's not. I just don't really hear too many people talking about it outside of like that echo, like the you know, the gamer community, I guess you'd say. But I think maybe once like Mario comes out, that might change a little bit, just because it'll be like the holiday season. Everyone's like, oh, the next, you know, because the thing about it hasn't had a holiday season yet. It came out in March, so maybe this Christmas, you know, kids will be like, oh, I want Mario, I want this, and you know, whatever other games are coming out this fall for it, and it'll probably be like one of the hotter, you know, things people want, at least kids want for Christmas, and well, adults too. But so what I'm thinking is maybe this fall it'll start really becoming mainstream. Plus, it's like been so hard to find.
Yeah,
and I feel like, because I know I remember I read, I think it was last night or the night before, that they're ramping up production for it through July and August, so that by, you know, like July and August, it should probably be, by the end of August, it probably should be readily found. You should be able to find one pretty easily. So my guess is that by then it'll start to, because you can actually you'll see it in stores more. You'll be able to, you know, actually tangibly get it. So I think it's not now, but I think it'll get there. I think, especially when Mario comes out and it's like, hey, you can play this game, the sweet Mario game. It looks really good. This, you know, it's a full, you know, like Super Mario 64 adventure type thing. I think like people our age or even a little bit older that had a Nintendo 64 be like, oh, that looks like the Nintendo 64 Mario. I'm gonna get that. Yeah. You know, and then kids will just be like, oh, Mario, and you know, because they put Mario on everything, or oh, it's like Super Mario Run, but it's really not. You know, it's like Mario. Anyway, so I think this fall, like once they get their main central character, like a full game on them, I think people will start talking about it. They may even have a bundle, which would be kind of cool, like just a Super Mario Odyssey bundle. But I don't know if that'll happen or not. But they almost don't need to. But I know there's Splatoon bundles, at least in Europe and Japan. I don't know if it's coming to North America or not. But I don't know. Like I said, I think this fall.
Okay. Do kids, like, this shows how out of touch I am. Do kids like still get hype about Mario? Like, is he still a?
See, that's what I don't know. That's why I mentioned Super Mario Run, because I was like, I'm trying to think of like something recently that was popular, but I was like, maybe Super Mario Run on iPhone. But then they're gonna be like, wait a minute, why I have to go this way and this way and this way? I can't just go across the screen and hit the button. Like they might be like, oh, Mario, but I don't know. Maybe I guess more. I would think like parents would be like, "Oh, Mario," and then like they just get it, and then their kids see it, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool." Like it's kind of like that. It's kind of got like a general art style, like a family art style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like it's cartoony, but it's Mario, so it's gonna be badass. But
Yeah.
um,
Cause I don't
yeah,
like, I don't know, cause I say that, and like as I was saying that, I was thinking about like Pokemon Go. Like
mm-hmm.
I would think, oh, that's more for older people. But when that was a craze, like around here, cause I think I was living with Stephen and Aaron when that happened, and like you see like adults and kids like playing that game or like outside using it. So I guess maybe like, but like I don't know about Mario though. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
like
Pokemon is.
I don't know. Like, although I will say, like, I know the 3DS was
Mhm,
super popular with like kids, just because kind of like what we were talking about, like car rides, stuff like that. Like,
mhm.
just bringing that on the go. Like, I'm sure kids usually when they're in cars, like, are we there yet? Are we like like flipping out? So
Yeah,
like, okay, here's a 3DS. Here's freaking new Super Mario Brothers. Play some Mario. Like,
yeah,
something to keep them busy.
yeah.
So, and I know like the games are a little bit cheaper in the 3DS. I think they're like $30 instead of 60. So it's a
Mhm,
little bit easier system to kind of give your kids because like, oh, they want a new game. It's not $60, it's $30 or
mhm.
cheaper if it's on sale. So they may know Mario from that, like from this 3DS, because there's tons of Mario stuff for that. But
Okay.
um, I don't know. Other than that, though, I don't know really. Maybe they don't know. Like, are they? I don't know if they're like hyped about Mario that much. Like, I don't know what kids these days, like younger kids at least, their like connection with Mario is. Now that
Mhm.
you say that,
Yeah, I don't, because I guess like Pokemon can be because Pokemon has the cartoons, they had the movies, you know, obviously the games, and I feel like Pokemon is more kind of out there than like a
mm-hmm.
Mario or like a Zelda, like that kind of
Right?
thing.
Yeah. So I guess in a way, like the stuff that we were getting excited about from E3, like Zelda, the new Pokemon that kids will probably get,
Hmm.
hyped about, like Mario and stuff and like Zelda, it's like stuff like that. Like you were saying, like there are other franchises. I
Hmm.
don't know. I'm not really sure if people like younger kids are like, oh, cool. Like there's like, oh, Metroid. I don't even know what that is, but okay, cool.
Hmm. Yeah, like I think my older brother played something like that on that little square, that little purple square that he had
Yeah.
in his room. Do you think like not to jump around? Well, I guess staying on the mainstream thing, the DS, how much was like what's the cheapest it's been, or like what's like what's like the median price of it? 'Cause,
I think it's like, because I know I was actually looking at one at one point just because there was a few games I wanted to play on it.
mm-hmm,
All right, so like the new one that they just released, the
mm-hmm,
2DS XL, is
mm-hmm.
150.
Okay,
So I'm
okay,
thinking if you put the regular 2DS, that's probably 100, maybe $80.
okay.
So if you don't care about the 3D stuff, which they really don't
They don't really do anymore.
do it, they don't really like, focus on that anymore. So unless you're gonna play some of the original games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you think that?
but like it looks like between 100 150, depending on how
Okay,
big the screen you want.
okay. Do you think that makes it like a barrier to get more mainstream? The fact is, I mean, $300. I'm not gonna say like it's cheap, and it's not cheap, but it's not a lot when you really think
Right.
about it. Do you think that might like stop a mother from like, I could pay $300 for this thing, or I could pay 150 for this other Nintendo thing? You think that might help or hinder
I
it?
think it does both in a way because I feel like if we're talking about like for mainstream, like you might get into like say it hinders in a way like because like it's cheap, so it's like okay,
Mhm,
kind of like we were talking about the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. It's the same thing
mhm,
where like if like oh they both play Mario,
mhm,
for the Nintendo side of it. If oh they both play Mario, they both play Zelda. Oh,
mhm.
this one's 100, like this one's 150, this one's 3. Oh, wow, why would I pay twice the some parents don't know the difference. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay. Um, so maybe in that respect, but I also think kids, if you got them a 3DS previously and they
Mhm,
played it and they're like, holy crap, there's a new Mario game. It looks so good. It's on the Switch. I want to have like those are like parent. I need a Switch. I need a Switch. I need a Switch. And then they're just
mhm.
gonna be like, okay, we'll get you a Switch. And then they go into the store. We need a Switch. Then oh well, you gotta go on this waiting list and this and that. And then it becomes a whole chase for the Switch. Then maybe that helps in just that if they already know like Mario stuff like that from their 3DS from before, then probably that might help them a little bit, I think. But it just really kind of depends on the situation there.
Yeah, yeah. Um, a little conspiracy theory talk. So I remember when they first announced the Switch, like, and I was watching, I think, Kind of Funny, and I think like Colin was always saying like how he thinks that he was always confused as to why they're releasing it in March,
Mm-hmm.
and like he would always say that it's probably because of Breath of the Wild, like they wanted to get that game out, so they released it because they released it just to release it out on the Wii U, and that like the console should have been released in the fall. Do you think that maybe that's like do you think like them releasing it in March was because of Zelda, or do you think like that's just when they always planned it? Because it feels like from from them releasing the Switch to like E3, they weren't scrambling or like they weren't like incoherent, but I feel like at E3 they were focused, like getting close to E3, like they were very focused, like they almost like this. That was when they originally had a plan to like maybe we'll announce the Switch a little before E3. We'll present some of the games coming out, and then
Right.
fall, because then they could have the fall where it's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Odyssey, Arms, Splatoon 2. Oh, and yeah, here's a Switch version of that Wii U game, Breath of the Wild.
Right. I could see that just because it never really made sense to me why they released in March. I don't know if they were trying to do things because I know like a lot of games now they're like, oh, instead of come out in the fall when like Call of Duty and all the like big name games that always come out always in the fall, they kind of like we're gonna get out of their way and we're gonna come out in March. I don't know if like they usually it's like February, March, April, like that time frame. Like spring has become very popular lately. I don't know if they were trying to get out of the fall, but it's like a new console.
Do they need to get out of anybody? I think it's where everybody needs to get out of their way. Like
Right.
they would have had.
But
Yeah, I don't think
I
Switch needs to
think
worry about that.
and just assuming nothing else could have released sooner than it did now,
Mhm.
it would. I was wondering. I bet you because even when the Switch launched, there wasn't like a ton of like big name games right off the bat. Like even Mario Kart came out like a month later or whatever. So I think there's maybe some credence to that. They moved it to March because they're like, okay, Zelda's not going to be ready till March, so we need something to launch with it that's going to make people buy it. And then Mario Kart comes out on this day, and then Splatoon, Arms. Like it's almost like they have like a game every month to E3 almost, and then like E3 they like then we can tell everyone about everything like that we got for like the next while, and then people won't be playing because the problem with the Wii U too was back it was like everyone's like, well, what do I play on this? Because like when it launched, it had like I think new Super Mario Brothers, and I don't remember if it had a Zelda game at launch. I don't think it did. No, I don't think it did because the last Zelda before that was Skyward Sword, and that wasn't on Wii U. So
that wasn't.
No, it was only on the Wii.
They never released like a Wii. I'm never like I would get it like that Twilight Princess confused. Wait, isn't there one? Is there one before that? Is there one in between Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword?
I don't think so. I know they had.
Okay.
Well, they had like the one.
Because GameCube had Wind Waker.
Yeah, GameCube had Wind Waker, and then
was Twilight Princess after that.
Actually Twilight Princess came out just like the Breath of the Wild, where it came out on GameCube and Wii on the same day. Basically, so like the Wii launch date, it was like, hey, and if you don't want to get a Wii, you can get it on GameCube. Because they were the whole time they were pushing GameCube. It's gonna be on GameCube, and then they're like, oh, actually, we have something new. So, and then they did that, and then Skyward Sword came out, and they actually took like full advantage of like the waggle controls and all that stuff. I didn't actually play that one. Twilight Princess was good, but I didn't actually play Skyward Sword. I just at that point I was done with the Wii. I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And then the Wii U, I think it didn't have its own standalone Zelda game until Breath of the Wild, which came out obviously at the very end. I mean, it had the Wind Waker remake, which looked really good. I had that. That was cool, but it was one of those things where like I started playing it and I was just kind of like, yeah, I already beat this back on the GameCube. I don't really need to play this again after a while. Like it looked really good. They did a really good job on the remaster, but it was just like, all right, like I don't know if I need to pump another 100 hours into this game like I did back on the GameCube. Just I already did it. So, yeah. So I don't remember where this started.
We're talking about them releasing in fall instead of
Oh
like
yeah.
March.
So I
Yeah.
could definitely see them because like I don't know what would have came out at launch then if unless Zelda was ready, and I don't think they pushed Zelda back to the Switch.
You talking about like if they launched the Switch in the fall?
Yeah, if they would have launched the Switch last fall, because
Oh, you mean last fall?
ideally,
Not I'm talking about like no, I was talking about like not releasing it last fall. I'm talking about this fall.
oh, I see what you're
Like
saying.
they released it early to get breath. Like they didn't want to release like Zelda just on the Wii U. They wanted to release them together.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Now, yeah, that I could definitely see that too. Like just because Zelda, they knew it. They had a big. That game's been in development for a while, and they've been talking about that. Like I feel like several E3s before. So, um, at least two. Like I know at least two because I know that the first time they showed like this is the world and you can go anywhere you want. Like you can go in that mountain over there. You can go do this. So they didn't like show you doing it, but they're like here, you can literally go wherever you want, whenever. And I was just like, huh. And then like the next year they showed like another trailer, and then finally I think this year March it came out. So I could see them doing that because I think that they wanted a big game to come. But then again, it's like they could have done Mario, but then I think they just knew it was gonna be so long till another Zelda was coming out, and they know like kind of like there's those people that just really like Zelda. Like Zelda's like probably one of the more popular Nintendo franchises, probably right behind Mario, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
or Mario related games at least. And I could see that, to be honest. Like they just moved it up almost. Like we could do this because the thing is, in kind of supporting that theory is like their online stuff is not out.
Yeah, nothing.
Like
it's not ready. Yeah.
And it was going to be ready this fall, but then they pushed it even further back. So it just you're right. Like rushed maybe isn't the best word, but it looked like they're like, let's just get this out now. And maybe they were, I don't know, maybe they're worried about the Xbox One S a little bit, even though they're really not competing on that same thing. But maybe they're like, there's another console coming out next fall. Let's just do ours now. We'll release it with Zelda. We'll get all the other stuff out. Because I remember watching that reveal event for the Switch, and I just remember being like, this seems like it's like half done. Like it doesn't seem like everything's here. Like we have online features and you're going to have to pay for them, but we'll talk about that later. It's not going to be this year. You'll have it free at first. We'll figure it out later. We'll tell you. Virtual console, yeah, it'll be there, but we'll tell you later. Just don't worry about it. It's like, huh? It's like right now it's in beta in a weird way, and then like next year is when it's going to be like, oh, okay, here's the full package.
Yeah, and like if they did it in the fall, they'd have like everybody would say like I guess you got to have the pillars of like a fighting game, a racing game, like a sports game, and like a shooting game. They would have had Mario as like the big showcase game.
Yep.
Splatoon is the shooter. ARMS is the fighting game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the racing game. And then Zelda could have been like here's the remaster to show you how good this thing is.
Right. Plus Skyrim would have been ready.
Yeah, they would have had that too. And that's hey, that's a pretty good launch.
Yeah, that would be a really good launch.
Including with all the indie games they've
right.
So
yeah, because actually, now that you say that, like, even if you think about like the launch lineup for the Switch as it is, it was kind of barren. I mean, like, it was Zelda was like the big game, and then it was like, hey, there's also this 1-2 Switch.
Which could have been packing. It could have been the
Wii. It should have been packing, or at least it was definitely like a collection of tech demos to show you how cool these Joy-Cons are, like the motion stuff for them, and that's definitely what it was. And they're just like, oh, okay, maybe instead of doing a pack, and we'll just put it separate. So it's like, oh, there's another first-party game. So, yeah. Now that you say that actually is very interesting. Like, because that definitely seems like that's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Just because the launch, because everything they showed was like it's fall, like except for Zelda, that's the launch title, and 1-2 Switch, and then there's a few other indie games.
And well, I mean, personally, I'm glad that they did release it because I feel like if they'd release it in fall, I would probably never have gotten one until like maybe next summer because just not being able to find one.
Right. I'm also glad because kind of like some of the indie games that have gotten so popular, I don't know if those would have even been recognized, just because if there was Skyrim, Mario Kart, ARMS, all these other games, you might not even cared about that. Like you wouldn't be looking for something to play necessarily. You'd just been like, oh, I'm gonna get ARMS, or I'm gonna get Splatoon, or I'm gonna get this, or I'm gonna get that. So
yeah. So just a little conspiracy theory.
There's definitely something to that, just because like just because of the online stuff. that enough to me goes, okay, there's something interesting about that. Because like even when they announced it's like, huh, they're just not gonna. They're like, it's still free for now. It's gonna cost money later to play online and all this stuff. It's just not ready yet. So it's like most game companies don't do that. They would just be like, everything's got to be ready and ready to go. One whole package. Like, okay, here's Xbox Live. This is how this works. This is how this works. This is how this works. And then it comes out all in this one day. Whereas this, they're like, they didn't give you like a date. Just like in the future, we'll worry about that.
Like they haven't finished planning it out. They're like,
right. And now we know they hadn't because they changed things already. So
it's like they went in there like, yeah, you guys gotta have this ready by March now. They're like, wait, what?
Right.
You said we had until September. No, you got till next month. I'm like, oh, holy shit. Okay.
So. Yeah, because if you really think about it, they didn't even have an E3 to really even show it off. Usually, most companies want an E3 because then like this past E3 would have probably been similar, except it would have been like, here's ARMS, there's this, and here's the stuff about the console, and here's the online stuff, and here's it would have been like a typical, reveal. So
yeah. So like, change gears a little bit. Are there any? I know they announced like Pokemon Metroid Prime 4. Like, what are some other things like you want to see on the console, on the Switch? Like,
okay, so just me personally, I want to see a Luigi's Mansion. I know they made one for 3DS, and I just love that game. Like on GameCube when that was a launch title, and I remember just being like, "No, there's no Mario game. I'll try this out." And then I just remember being like super surprised.
Yeah,
and just be like, "This game was awesome." And then Mario Party, I'm sure is going to come eventually, anyways. But I think if they did something cool with like the Joy-Cons, like that would be a fun game to be like, put on a table and then huddle down with your friends and like, all right, we're gonna play Mario Party. Although I had the one on the Wii U, they need to make it more like the old one for that to work because the new one's is kind of like you're all in one like vehicle, like almost like a carriage together, and it's not like you're separately on spaces. You're literally like in this carriage, and it's just like everything you roll is like you together, and it's just I don't know. It's really really weird. I don't know how to explain it. Like weird, the Amiibo mode was like the classic version of Mario Party, and that's what me, Mark, and Melissa played the most. That's one of the reasons why we got Amiibos was like we're just gonna get this and play this old mode because it's actually like Mario Kart or Mario Party where you go around, the map. So, I mean, the other mode was fun, but I was just like, this kind of feels weird. Like it doesn't feel like typical Mario Party. So, I guess Mario Party, Luigi's Mansion are the two I can think of off the top of my head that they're already not doing.
I want to. Well, at first I wanted to see this on an iPhone, like on a phone, since they're doing like software. But like now that I think about it, I like to see it on a Switch too. Do you remember like the WarioWare games?
Oh yes, that
was more specific because I've only ever played the original one on the Game Boy Advance, and like that game would be perfect on the Switch. Every game would be perfect on an iPhone, just like the little mini games, just kind of the quick bites. That game would be fantastic. And like I also want to see, and I don't know if there've been any on like the Wii or Wii U or even GameCube, like the Mario, like the sports ones, like Mario Tennis specifically.
Tennis,
was that on the GameCube or 64?
I think it was on both. I know it was on 64 because I know for sure it was there because I know Mario Golf. That was like when that all kind of started, and then GameCube. I don't remember if there was or not. I'm guessing there was, but I'm not 100% sure. And then Wii U, I know there was. It was like towards the tail end of like that was one of the last like first party games that came out. Because I remember at that point I was like, oh, maybe I'll get this, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna get this. So
yeah. Well, I guess you could say Wii Sports counts as the Mario,
right?
Mario golf, Mario sports related games. I would be excited for that. Not even like a separate like tennis or golf or whatever, but like maybe like Mario Sports. It has all
because I think they just made one of those for 3DS where it's like golf. It's like all the different instead of making separate ones. There's like we'll just put them all in one because why are we gonna make 6 different games for soccer, all the different ones? Like we don't need to do that. We'll put all in one package. That would be cool. I would be okay with that.
Yeah. I want them to also.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I also want them to kind of do like the whole I think I mentioned this might have been one of my predictions for the E3 show, like them doing like retro-ish games or like bringing back franchise, like how they used to do with like I know they did Metroids on the Game Boy Advance and like how they had the Castlevanias on the Game Boy Advance was like the Symphony of the Night style, but it's a new game.
Kind of like that new Metroid game.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing I want. The thing is what they're doing. But yeah, stuff like that on the Switch.
Yeah, because actually, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, "Oh, whoa!" They didn't talk about this during the like. I thought like, "Oh, did I miss this? This is also for the Switch," and it was like, "Nope, this is just for 3DS." And I was like, "Why?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
why would
yeah,
you just not have this on both?" Like,
yeah.
that's like the weird trade off right now. It's like they're like kind of in a weird spot where it's like, "Here's this new game," and everyone's like, "Oh, is that on Switch?" And everyone's like, "They're like, oh no, it's on 3DS." And everyone's like, "Well, I got a Switch," and they're like, "Maybe," but the argument people have said to me is like, oh, well, the 3DS has the two screens. And I'm like, well, on a game like that screen isn't probably that important. It's like probably a mini map or your inventory, which you could just hit start to get into anyway. So to me, it's like they could have made it work. They could just make a few changes and it work. And that's like people have been asking for that since they did that with the new Super Mario Brothers. It's like, oh, they should do this with like Metroid and some of these other side scrolling games that they have, and where they just like make it 3D and make it cool. And like another game I'd like to see kind of that same thing is I'd like to see them do either a port or just I guess it could be a port. I don't really care of Mario Maker. I had that for Wii U, and I think me and Melissa wanted it for Christmas the one year, and I got it for her, and it was really really cool. But like I think at the time that was like right when we had gotten to Destiny. Like that was the year we got into Destiny. So goddamn Destiny just fucked it up. We never put like literally when we traded in, we're like we literally played this maybe 2 days. Like we didn't actually even touch this game, but I'm like, hopefully they make one for the Switch because I think that would be a really cool thing to be like, oh, you can build a level like on the go and then, or just like play random levels. Like maybe before you leave, like, oh, I'm download these 5 levels.
Yeah.
Cause I don't, and then play them on the handheld and just kind of in the undocked mode or whatever. That would be cool. And then like, I know I've seen other people predict like maybe they'll do that with some of their other franchises. Like it'd be cool if they did like, I don't know what other,
Zelda Maker. That would be
like Zelda or Metroid or something like anything. It would be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool, man. That would be real cool, actually. Oof. Man, what else would I?
Pokemon Maker.
I thought about that for a second.
I don't know how that would work, but it would be pretty cool.
I would see them doing something like we could make your own Pokemon and like import it into the game.
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool. But then, like, you just have like a random ass,
just a random
a penis. I'm sure somebody make a penis or like a boob Pokemon, boobmon.
Yeah, like Boobymon.
Yeah, Testicon.
Testiclecon, man.
Yeah. What else would I want to see? I don't know why I've always wanted to see a Rogue Squadron, but that's not gonna happen now because Battlefront. They're not gonna.
I know. See, that's another game. That's the one thing I'm like. Oh yeah, I remember that came back on 64. That was a fun game. I remember people like I remember from my friends like that game sucks. I'm like, no, it doesn't. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that game was amazing. That game was so fun. But yeah, since they have Battlefront now, a Rogue Squadron game, I don't ever see that.
I know
happening.
Like yeah, GameCube, that Rogue Squadron and Luigi Mansion were the 2 games I had at launch. I remember. I was just like, yep, I'm all about this stuff. Like I think GameCube is one of those systems that people just like kind of didn't. A lot of people forget how good it was. Like, it had so many good games. Like, Metroid Prime series was on that. Like, there was so like that was my primary console back in that generation. I think I had that first, and then I got the OG Xbox, and then I got the PS2. I believe it was last, but the GameCube was like the one where like I got all my games on that. Like, that was the one I used the most.
Yeah, because I think when you look back, they had Resident Evil 4, Luigi Mansion, Super Smash Brothers Melee, Metroid Prime. Did 2 come out on GameCube, or did 2 come out?
I think 2. Yeah, 2 came out on there. I'm not. Did 3 too? No, 3. I think it was
a Wii.
I think it was a Wii. I think because I know they remastered them and brought all 3 of them to the Wii too, the collection. Because I remember I was gonna because the Wii U was backwards compatible with the Wii, and I was gonna try and get that to play those on the Wii because I didn't. I feel like this is kind of like a common story. Like every time I talk about Metroid Prime with people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I played the first one. I never actually played the second or third." Like it's the same thing with me. Like I played the first. I was planning to play the second, third. I just never did.
And I hear they're good. Well, I think they're good. I hear the second one's. Everybody says it's good, right?
Yeah, the third one I think is the one people are more questionable on. And then they had that one. I know there was one on the Wii. It was called Other M, and it was made. It wasn't made by the
I
same
seen videos of
people. It
that.
was
Yeah,
like made by like
Team
the
9.
people who did like Ninja Gaiden or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like a little different. Like it was almost like an anime type thing. They kind of like, if you're like, oh, this isn't as good.
Yeah, can you guys just no, just do Prime again,
Just do Prime,
please?
get Retro, and have them make Prime.
Yeah, just do Prime. But yeah, like the GameCube had like Mario Sunshine,
Yep.
Wind Waker, which
Yep.
I don't think a lot of people give that game its due, because I think Sunshine was a really good game.
Yeah,
It was
Sunshine.
different. It was different because he had the water pack on his back, but
Yep.
it was still a really cool game.
It was almost like reverse Splatoon before Splatoon, if you think about it, because like there was like the ink and stuff, and you had to like get rid of it. Whereas Splatoon's like the opposite. You're like trying to put ink.
Dang, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
So
I didn't think about it till just now. I was like, wait a minute.
I would love to hear them do an interview with the people who make Splatoon and just ask, like, Nintendo's like, when you did Sunshine, did that give you the idea for Splatoon?
Right.
Because with like how similar that mechanic is now.
Right. And then, well, another game is Animal Crossing. That's another game I'd like to see on the Switch, because I feel like that would be a good one to take on the go.
See, I've never played an Animal Crossing game. I've never played one.
I played the first one on GameCube. I never played any of the others.
Okay. Isn't it just like isn't like a Sims-ish kind of game where you have your town?
Yeah. Ish. It's like kind of like Sims, but kind of, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. It's definitely a different game. I don't know really how to explain it. It's like it's kind of like Sims. I feel like it's a little more interactive than Sims, where Sims it's kind of like you're just like, you do this, do that, do this. Whereas Animal Crossing, you're actually like doing the things with your character. Like you have one character. It's not like you're managing several. So, and what was the other one? I just thought of one other one that was for GameCube. Well, while we're talking about GameCube, we can talk about Virtual Console and how GameCube hopefully comes the Virtual Console.
Yeah, because I would play all these games on the Virtual Console.
I know.
Like, I hope. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Like, yeah, I think it'd be really cool if they brought GameCube games to Virtual Console and like you play them in dock mode and take them on the go and like play those games. Because like I'll admit, like before I have like an old laptop and I literally just like completely cleared it out and was like, I'm literally gonna just use this to emulate GameCube games. Like I'm gonna try to play, but it just wasn't the same. I'm like, this is not the same on a computer. And I had like, even though I had like the 360 controller hooked up to them, like this isn't the same. It didn't run the same. So I was like, screw this. It's not working. So, yeah, just the thought of playing games like Super Mario Sunshine and Luigi's Mansion, like on the handheld mode that just gets me excited.
I mean, I'm excited to play like Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Even like 64, like Diddy Kong Racing on the 64, like, or Star Fox 64 on my Switch. Like that is like the fact that if you could just take those games with you, that would be amazing. And I don't know if they're saving it for like the online thing or they just don't know how to do it, which I don't feel like there's nothing. I don't think there's technically anything stopping the Switch from playing those games.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. But
do you think it's more so that the online service they're trying to do?
I think it kind of goes back to that conspiracy theory a little bit. I think they just don't know exactly how they want to work that. Or I know there's always been the complaint that people are like, why do I have to buy games I already bought on, say, the Wii U or the Wii again? Like maybe they're trying to find some way where you could, if you owned it previously, and then you just have it. So maybe they're trying to. I mean, obviously GameCube wasn't a thing on the Wii U, but I think because it's been a long rumor, like even before like they did like the reveal that GameCube was eventually going to be a Virtual Console. And I'm actually kind of surprised E3 came and gone and we didn't really hear anything about Virtual Console. I figured they'd at least give some kind of detail, like, oh, it's coming this fall, like, because they've already said it's separate from their that online, like that game you get for having their online thing where they're adding the multiplayer, like, which is really cool. But they're like, oh, well, that's separate from Virtual Console. Virtual Console is still a thing. But that's all they're really saying. So it's kind of like, okay, when are we going to get the news on this? I don't know if they're just going to have like a Nintendo Direct all about the Virtual Console or what's the deal going to be. I don't know. I hope we get something soon though, because I'm really curious about that. And I'm really curious how it's all going to work.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm not we're not businessmen and we're not like, we don't own companies. So we don't know like the why, the right or why, but like just from the outside looking in, you think it's a simple, Like, okay, we just released this virtual console, 5, 10, 15, $20 games. Like, I would probably spend I could spend $100 easily on that.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. The other thing
saying
I
like
was
you,
wondering is like maybe they're gonna do something kind of like Game Pass on Xbox. Like maybe they'll do like a virtual console pass, and like literally it's just like kind of like Netflix maybe, where it's like here you just pay $10 a month and you'll have access to all these games. And we're gonna be adding some. We'll take some out. We'll do whatever they're gonna do. I mean, they've never said that's anything, but maybe they're trying to do something different with it. I don't know.
would that be a smart thing to do? Like to give all the like to give that whole like now I'm kind of thinking of as a company, like financially, you think that'd be a good idea to say, hey, for $20, we can give you access to all these games, or saying, you know what, let's just make them all pay for them separately because they will buy it, which is true.
Right. I th- I think they'd probably make more money if they just did separate, like they have.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I think like, how many of these people like I don't know, like they're like, oh, I got to pay $10 to play Mario 64,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe some people are like, I don't know, but like then again, like I would pay. I paid $10 on the Wii U to play Mario 64. I'd pay $10 again to play Mario 64 on the Switch. So
Yeah.
Nintendo, maybe they would just be like, screw it. I mean, and the thing is, their online service is considerably more cheaper. Like so,
Yeah. Yeah.
like people. I mean, people got to give them credit, and you still. I mean, it's not like you're really not getting anything that you don't get on the other ones. You still get free games. You still get other stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't. I think I'm like, I don't. I just don't. The virtual console thing is just weird to me because I'm like, I just feel like it's just money waiting for them. Like,
It's so
it's just so much money just sitting there. Like, not that I want the indie games to just like fall off for it, but in a way, like the popularity of the indie games. But I feel like if they're just like, here's all the Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World, and here's Zelda Link to the Past and the old Metroid, and here's Metro, all the games, and then like people be like, oh, cool. Like the people that already have it would be like, yeah, and then the people that are like waiting for, maybe they're waiting to get it, like me, until Mario comes out. Maybe they're like, screw it, I found one at Target. I'm just gonna buy it now because it's here,
yeah.
and I can play Super Mario World like and play this and play that. In the meantime, and those games are $5-10.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff adds up quick. If you think about like even like cell phone games, people are into those. It's like some of the more
Mm-hmm.
graphically powerful ones are $5-10, and there's like it's $5. So what do I care? It's like, oh, play it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
There's also
just
thing that
it's money waiting. It's basically,
yeah.
I'm curious when they're going to do it.
Yeah, and that's also something that could help them sell them too. Like you think about it, if you have like a dad in there to get like a dad who's not really in the games anymore, they go on like Best Buy to get a Switch, and they're like, "Oh, what does this thing do? Oh, it plays a new Mario game. Oh, cool." And then the guy's like, "Well, it also plays like the older games too, like Super Mario, like Super Mario World, Mario 64." And the dad be like, "Oh man, I remember all those games, so I can play those games too." Yeah, all right, I'll easily get this.
Right.
It'd be like a me and my kids kind of console.
Right. No, dad, absolutely. Because I was just talking to my wife today about that. I was like, when he has like my kid has motor skills, I'm like, I'm going to start him off with like the old stuff, like the original Mario, like Nintendo games. So like, but right now it's kind of like that's kind of hard to do because I don't have an NES Classic because those are gone. So it's like it's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, I mean, I don't really want to emulate them just because that's sometimes a pain in the ass, and plus I no, it just kind of feels weird. You're like, oh, I never owned this game. Screw it, gonna just download it for free. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so but if it was like, oh, it's here and it's $2, like, oh, okay, well, I don't give a crap. I'll give them $2 to play this game again that I've played a million times but love. So now I want my son to enjoy it. Like, so stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I just want
Nintendo.
them to make that announcement. Just like
Yeah.
virtual
Nintendo.
console. Come on, like they acknowledge it's real, but there's like I said, not like I am like fully into that conspiracy theory. Not like that they just like we're gonna release it with Zelda, and then we'll release the rest of this stuff when it's ready. Like,
We'll give you the really good stuff that you want. You wanted a Mario game, you wanted a success of the 64. Just wait till the fall. We got you guys. We got you covered.
the other idea I have for virtual consoles, like, say you buy Super Mario Odyssey, they can be like, oh, and you get Super Mario 64 for free. Like, oh, like, or like even like maybe a pre-order bonus or something like that. Like, Nintendo's not really too big on like those pre-order bonuses and stuff like that. Like, they don't really do too much with that. But I can see them being like, hey, if you buy it, day one or whatever, there's like a day one and it comes with Super Mario 64, or maybe it comes with a few different Mario games, or like Mario All Stars or something like that. Hey, you can play all these old Mario, all your favorite. You can play those ahead of time while you're waiting if you get it off the eShop or something.
Or they can do like a special, like this is the special edition of Mario Odyssey where you buy it for instead of 60, 80 and $80, and you get Mario 1, 2, 3, Super Mario World. You get like all the Marios,
right?
All the Mario games, or you get like 64 Sunshine and Galaxies.
Right, or like, oh hey, we got a special edition this fall, like fall of Mario Kart, and it comes with Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart, Super Nintendo version, and Double Dash on GameCube or something like stuff like that would be cool.
I forgot about Double Dash. I love that game.
Yeah, that's another one on GameCube we didn't mention when we were talking about GameCube. Like, there's like GameCube literally has a ton of good like first party games like that were only on it,
and it got a lot of third party because at that point that's the last time they were at parity with everybody.
Right. Yeah, because I used to play Madden on that, and like everyone used to always make fun of me. I'm like, I don't give a crap. GameCube's my system. And then once I got like Xbox, I moved over, but I was just like,
oh man. So wait, is it safe to say that GameCube's maybe their last great console
from Nintendo?
Yeah, the last good one, like great one.
Yeah. Sales numbers aside, yeah, I'd probably say as far as like.
I mean,
games.
Yeah, we didn't like the. I always read that like every console the sales go down. Like the 64 sold less than the after Super Nintendo, like the 64 sold less than the Super Nintendo. The GameCube sold less than N64. The Wii is kind of like that.
The outlier, yeah.
Yeah, and then like the Wii U, obviously,
yeah,
sold less than everybody else.
Yeah, Wii U was. I don't know if it's actually their worst selling thing, but it was definitely done because I remember it came out, and I remember I went to Best Buy like a week later, and they had like literally just like a stacks, like tons of them, just like, and I was like, ooh, that's not good. I was just like, no one's buying this thing.
Yeah,
and I kind of felt like that's what it was going to be with the Switch before it came out, and then like all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm like pleasantly surprised, like cool, because like I feel like Nintendo's that one company that whether you're Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, like you kind of root for them in a way, like you want like they're this thing that you grew up with in a way. I mean, I was a Sega Genesis kid instead of a Super Nintendo, but like after Sega Genesis, I had to go somewhere, so I went to the Nintendo 64. I feel like every kid had Nintendo 64, and then eventually got maybe PlayStation, but like
Dreamcast.
Or Dreamcast, yeah, I had Dreamcast too. That's another one that's like, oh. But
I love my Dreamcast. I love that thing.
Yeah, I wish I still had mine, to be honest. There's some games like Power Stone. I used to love playing that game. I wish it'd make
Power Stone on the Switch.
Power Stone 3 or 4. I don't even know what one was the last one. I know they had 1 and 2. I don't remember if there was ever a 3.
I'll take that. I'll take 1 or 2.
Yeah, because I remember actually the Virtual Console had like Sega and Sega Genesis, and I think it had like Neo Geo and like a few other systems. So if they did that, that would be cool. Like if they were like, oh, in Dreamcast, like here's some Dreamcast games, like the Sonic Adventure games and stuff like that. That would be cool.
Well, I know they probably won't get Shenmue. They would never get Shenmue on the Switch for obvious reasons.
Right.
But yeah, man. Oh my goodness.
I know, it's like, when are you guys gonna do this? I really hope that they do have GameCube. That's the one thing I'm really hoping for. If they don't, I'll be like, oh. But it'll still be cool to play the other stuff on the go. But
But you want those GameCube games.
I want those games.
But I heard the only problem is that I guess since the triggers are analog on the GameCube and these are digital, there's no no pressure.
Right.
You can't put any pressure, and that affects like Luigi Mansion because you have to hit the trigger at a certain pressure.
Oh
and,
yeah.
I think didn't Mario Sunshine have the same thing? Like you could squeeze.
Yes, because I think it was like it controlled how strong like the pressure on the water was out the flood or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a way they can fix. Like, there's a way that they can probably move some stuff around on the controller to make that work. But I mean, that still sounds like a very minor hurdle to getting the GameCube games on there.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder how much GameCubes are. Like, because I know like GameStop is like selling GameCubes. Like they sell on their online. They have like the GameCubes and the games. And because I was in the GameStop that Mark works at, and they have like a little like display area, and they had like a Nintendo 64. Like they had some of the older consoles, and there was games in there. And I was like, these games are gonna be like a ton of money. And I was like, oh, like it was like Mario Kart 64, $5. And I was like, oh well, shit. If it's only $5.
Yeah, that's for that game. That's nothing.
$30 for a Nintendo GameCube.
That is that is.
And the memory cards and stuff, 15. Walmart still has memory 251 or whatever cards.
You're telling me a GameCube is cheaper than an NES Classic?
Yeah, actually, a GameCube's cheaper than an NES Classic. Yep.
Jesus Christ!
Holy crap, though. Okay, Luigi's Mansion on Amazon is $100. So if you want some of those games, you're gonna be out of control. That's gonna get real expensive real quick. So yeah, Nintendo, just give us Luigi Mansion on the Switch. Just like do that.
Justin, would that be like almost like I have to bite the bullet and buy it if they were like Virtual Console, Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah. Well, the thing is like the thing is like once I heard the news that like July, August they're gonna be they're ramping up production now so that in July and August, like literally if I'm in DC, like not next week and I see a Switch, I might be like, hey Melissa, we need to buy this like right now. Like we buying this Switch. Like cause I told her like, I got it like before I wanted like the PS4. I was like, okay, I definitely want a PS4, but I was like, Spider-Man doesn't come out next year, God of War's next year. I'm like, I could probably hold off to like after Christmas, kind of like tax return time, get a PS4. Like maybe it'll come down in price. They'll have some special holiday deal. But I'm like, I definitely want to play Mario Odyssey when it comes out, and I'd like to get even a little before to play Zelda. So, because like right now, until really like Destiny 2 for me, there's really nothing. And even so, Destiny 2, I'm like kind of like, like I've been cleaning up my backlog, and I've actually been like really enjoying doing that. So it's like playing different stuff. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna just go like I'm gonna try not to just go so hard on Destiny 2 after like the first few weeks.
Don't get yourself.
You can fall back right into it, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, once I beat like the story stuff, maybe I'll kind of branch out in like October 27th when Odyssey comes out. Like I definitely want to play that. Like that's definitely like they finally are giving me the Mario game that I wanted. Like Super Mario 3D Land was kind of like that, but it was like a 4-player co-op, and I had fun playing that with Melissa. That was fun, but it just wasn't Mario 64. It was, you know, so like this is like Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine, where it's like this is a full 3D game, and the hat thing isn't so like the Super Mario Sunshine, like the mechanic with the thing. It was different. Like it was not like a true like Mario 64 was. This seems like okay, you throw this hat and then you just become this thing. It's not like you got to clear this ink or you got to do this or you got to use this to do that. So
the analogy I saw that the hat is basically like a power ape,
right?
Instead of like the raccoon power up or like the fireball power up, he just throws his hat and he takes that power.
Right. It's like closer to that exactly. So it just looks so good, and I just want to play that very badly. And then like I wanted to play Zelda really bad, but it's just like I can hold off. I don't want to spend $300 right now. I wish I would have. In kind of retrospect, I wish I would have just gotten it at launch. But then again, the only one I could pre-order is the one with the great Joy-Cons, and I kind of wanted the blue and the red. Or actually, now I want those neon yellow ones. Those ones look really cool. Yeah, those ones are really. I wish I had a bundle with that because I'd be like, sign me up. I'd pre-order that right away. But because Mark's like, oh, we have bundles, but like I was like, well, I don't really want the Zelda expansion pass so much. Like maybe down the line if I decide okay, but I just don't think I'm like there's people that played that game for 200 hours and they still haven't done everything in it. So it's like I think I'll just play Zelda, have fun with it. I don't really think I need to play the expansion pass stuff for it.
Yeah. Side note, this whole week, all I've done in Zelda is basically like hunt for animals and get meat. Because basically, when you kill an animal, it gives you meat. And I've just been cooking food. I've literally just spent this whole week cooking food in Zelda, and like marking all the cooking spots on the map. That has literally been like my week of Zelda.
There you go.
And I am loving it.
Right.
I'm loving it.
See, that's the thing too, is I never played Skyrim, so when that comes out, I'd be like, oh, I'll just get this on the Switch. Why get this on Xbox or PS4? So I can just get this and then like, oh, just play it, over here, do this.
Yeah, same here.
Like I've always wanted to play. I owned it on Xbox 360. I just never got around to playing it. I was playing other things and it just kind of sat in my backlog. Like I started it, like I maybe played like 2 hours of it, and then I just ended up wasn't in the mood for playing it. So
yeah. God, Nintendo.
I know. It's like, I don't know. That's the thing is like before the Switch, I feel like everyone was just like gloom and doom with Nintendo. Like they're gonna go out of business. Like they're done. They're gonna have to sell off to Apple, or Xbox is gonna buy them, or PlayStation's gonna like someone's gonna buy them because they're done. Or oh, they're just gonna become an iPhone company or like a cell phone company, like stuff like that. Because I remember rumors like, oh, they're gonna make their own cell phone, and it's like I don't know. Like there was like, oh, Apple's gonna team up with them and make a special edition. I'm like, nah, I doubt it. But I'm glad that they stuck with it. Like I said, that they just kind of go by the beat of their own drum, and I almost feel like that's kind of the smartest thing they can do, because getting in a graphics battle like Xbox and Sony are doing, some people are interested in that. Like I'm a little interested, but in real talk, to go with the theme of the podcast, real talk, like I would rather, like Nintendo is just so good at making fun games. Like Mario is going to be a Game of the Year contender. Zelda's already a Game of the Year contender. Like that's like the two big games they're releasing this year. So it's like they know how to make software, and now they actually have hardware that's actually also awesome. Good. So it's like it's cool to see that they've actually done that, and it's not like a gimmick so much. Like whereas like the Wii, it caught on because it was easy for everyone to play. This is also kind of easy but it's still like a console. So it's like it's not like something where they have to be like, oh, you have to, you swing your arm. Like it's still kind of like fills both needs of casual and not casual.
It's fundamentally a console as everybody knows it.
Right.
Yeah.
With like a standard controller type thing. Yeah. Like, because that was one thing everyone was like, oh. And like the Wii U kind of went back that way, but then it didn't. And I actually think one other problem with Wii U is like they had the two screens, but they didn't really do anything with the tablet screen. Like the first few games that came out did some cool things. Like I know, I think Arkham City, I think was the one that came out for it at launch. It had some cool things in it, like you could use it to like scan things in detective mode and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But then like after that, like just they didn't do nothing. It was like, oh, this is a mini map, or oh, this is like, which is fine, but like they didn't. The whole thing they were talking about, like this is like a 3DS or like a DS in your living room. Like if you don't like the 2DS idea, like or the DS idea, the handheld, you don't want to look at a little screen. That's fine. You have your TV as the top screen. You have this is the bottom screen, and this is touch screen and do all this other stuff. But I just think people didn't care at that point. And I think it was also a little confusing because it was called the Wii U. So people were kind of confused, like, is this like an accessory for the Wii, or is this its own thing? Yeah. And like I think they were trying to build off that Wii name and be like, hope people are like, oh, this is the new Wii, but then they should just call it the Wii 2, like or something. So that people would be like, oh, this is clearly something else. I need to get this. But I think people were just confused, and it still used the Wii controllers were compatible with it. So it was like this big confusing thing. I'm like, what is this? So
yeah, it's like they released it just to kind of get by before they released the Switch.
Yeah, they like definitely found.
They basically released their Switch prototype.
Yeah, because really, it is kind of like the Switch. It's just, it was like if right now the Switch is in beta, then the Wii U is the alpha. Like it was like,
yeah,
we're gonna put this out, and then like I think they looked at it and went, okay, there's some things we can do better here. Some games like there's the whole dock thing is really good. My only gripe about it is that the dock is kind of expensive, and like the controller, like Joy-Cons are way too expensive. Like if I wanted to get because if I got one, I'd want to have you'd want to have 4 Joy-Cons, so if you can play 4-player games on it. But at the same time, it's like damn, $80, $90 for an extra set of Joy-Cons. Like geez, like the two controllers next together, like even on the holder thing is smaller than like a 360 or a PS4 controller, not Xbox One or PS4 controller, and those are like $60-$70. They're not like, so you're like, damn, this is like, I mean, I know there's a lot of technology in them, but it's just like, it's just hard to justify how expensive they are.
Yeah, if they dropped it to like they kept it in parity 60, I would be happy with 60.
Yeah, because I want those neon yellow ones so bad.
Yeah,
like I don't even have a Switch yet, and I'm like, maybe I'll just get those and hang on to them just in case they move on from them and don't make them again. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money just to have controllers I don't have something to use them with.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad I can't find the neon anymore. Like anytime I go to Target, I always look.
Right.
Because I think like it might have been a week or two ago, because one of my coworkers like so bad, but like he's trying to justify it, and it's to the point now, kind of like you were saying, like if he sees it, he will probably buy it. So every time I see one, I always text them a picture. And like there was a weekend, like a weekend or two ago, I went to 2 different Targets and they had at least one Switch there at both, and one like yellow neon controllers. I've since gone to both of those Targets and nothing,
Right.
nothing.
Yeah. I just, like I said, like at this point, I'm like, if I find one, I'm definitely gonna try my damnedest to convince my wife to let me buy it, because it's just like, because the thing is, like, I just don't really know how. I know they're ramping up production, but at the same time, it's like that production's got to go to Japan, it's got to go to Europe, it's got to go to Australia, it's got to go everywhere. So it's kind of like, how long until this is gonna be like readily available? And because like it came out in March, it's kind of like a weird. Usually, like if it comes out in the fall, by like summer-ish, like right around this time. Usually, that's when things that come out, like new systems, and they come out like like PS4 and stuff, like stuff like that. By like May, June is usually when you can find it again. But with the Switch, maybe like will it not be till this fall? Like I don't actually know, but yeah, and like the thing is, like I feel like it's just gonna get more popular once Mario comes out, like we were talking earlier. So, and like I don't know, I think as more and more people talk about it, like it's definitely been a success. So it's like as more and more people like us get it and tell the other people that aren't like us, like are more casual, that they're gonna be like, oh, that was cool. Like, and the thing is, it kind of sells itself in a way, because like if you brought it to, like if I brought it to my parents' house and I was like, hey, look at this Switch, like remember Mario Kart? We can play on this thing. And if you don't want to play on the little screen, you can play on the big screen. You just got to plug this into the HDMI and you just play this and just set it in there. It's super easy. Oh, cool. And then they play, oh yeah, this is really fun. Then like maybe they go out and buy one. Like, so it's stuff like that. Like,
I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. Like you can, like if you got like a PS4 or Xbox, unless somebody comes to your house, you can't really show them. I can I can like take it to somebody and just show them. Like when I took it to work to show it to my coworkers, like and the fact that they can see it, touch it, and play with it, that helps sell it. So
yeah, because that's the thing. It's like if you like, like even the Xbox One S is like it's pretty small, but it's like at the same time, it's like it's just still a hassle to unplug everything unless you have like a second set of cables to unplug everything and bring it to someone's house to actually play it if they don't have one. So it's like with a Switch, you just like take it off, take off the dock. Go bring it over here. Controllers are already attached to it, so you don't have to like grab a bunch of stuff. It's all in one convenient package. Throw it in your backpack and head out. And then, all right, we're gonna play Mario Kart. Here you go. Boom. That's it. Done. Like, so the other thing too is I've been seeing like accessories coming out for other like, so you don't have to buy the expensive dock. There's other like a thing that I forgot how it plugs in or whatever, but it's like a thing that like you prop it up to play it through the TV without the dock, but it's cheaper. I know that, but yeah, it's like. I don't know. It's, the fact that accessories like that are coming out, it must be doing pretty well, because obviously people are like accessory makers. Like I don't know if Mad Catz is or not. I think it's Nyko is the one that makes that. But they're like, oh well, this thing is doing well enough where we can actually like make things to actually like for it. So
yeah.
And the other thing too, I'm kind of impressed. Like they already have like had a few updates for it, like for the firmware, and it's actually like features, and that's kind of actually goes into the conspiracy theory a little bit more, where like. Oh, here, this feature's here. Like, oh, we listened to the fans, but it's like, oh, or was it something that you already had planned? And you're just like, oh, we wasn't ready. Like, the Find Your Controller thing is really cool. Like, how they did that. That's really cool.
I haven't tried that yet. I need to try that. I actually need to try that and see how that works.
Yeah, because I think like any controller that's connected to it, you just like push it on the screen or whatever, or I don't know how you actually do it. And it's like, it vibrates. It's like, oh, there it is.
But yeah, oh man, I got nothing else.
Yeah, no, it's like I guess closing thoughts is just like Nintendo Switch was definitely a surprise.
Where do you see it go? We can close on. I guess we can close on that. Where do you see it like? What do you see the future of it being?
See, it's actually like when I canceled it was because I was kind of nervous. I was like, this is such like the whole thing with the online stuff, and like literally it was like, oh, we have Zelda, we have Mario, and we have Arms, and I was like, Arms, it might be fine, but not really my thing. Splatoon, I tried it on the Wii U. There was like a demo. I tried it. I was like, this is fine, but unless I had friends to play with, I probably won't play this by myself.
Yeah,
I was just like, okay, I probably won't care. And then Mario Kart, I was like, well, I already had this on the Wii U, but now that I've actually played it, I'm like, okay, this is actually a lot better on the Switch. Well, like it looks better. it almost feels like it just feels better just because the tablet was kind of weird, or you had to play with the Wiimote, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but now like the E3 has come, I'm like, okay, so now you got Kirby, you got Yoshi, you got Metroid, Yoshi, you got Metroid, you got Pokemon, you got, and like there's, and then like next E3, I'm sure they'll announce even more, or even like, and they do the Nintendo Directs, which I kind of like that they do that, because it's like they constantly give you a jerk feed of more stuff, so you can be like, oh, like, so like, because like that Kirby game looked kind of cool. I don't know if I'll get that one, but like the Yoshi game, I definitely will probably get that if I get a Switch. That looks really cool. And obviously Metroid, I'll get. The Pokemon game, I'll obviously get. So I'm like, okay, now there's enough software there where they're actually like showing me, okay, yeah, we're actually supporting this thing pretty good. Because I was just worried with them still supporting the 3DS, like they were gonna be like, oh, well, 3DS, we have so many of these already sold, so we'll just kind of keep. And they did that kind of with the Metroid game, but I'm hoping maybe that eventually they'll be like, oh, you know what? Well, here's, kind of like they did with the Wii U in a weird way, or maybe they even started doing it on the Wii. It's like, oh, we released this game for DS, like New Super Mario Brothers. Oh, people really like this on DS, so we're gonna make a port, like a version, and add some features to it specifically for the Switch, and then
like Smash Brothers too.
Yeah, kind of like Smash Brothers, exactly. So where they'll make like they'll almost do like a test version on the 3DS. Like, here's this game, let's see how people like it. Okay, people want the Switch. Okay, so then like a year later, okay, here's a Switch version, and it's got this new feature, and then it's got a whole new level and all this other stuff. So I'm hoping that maybe they do some of that with the 3DS stuff that they announced, because like I was watching gameplay of that Metroid game, and I was just like, this is what I've been wanting, like a 3D side-scrolling Metroid. Like, why don't you just put this on the Switch, where where everyone's excited about the Switch right now? Kind of 3DS is kind of not really an afterthought, but I feel like people like us are kind of like, 3DS, whatever. Like they're over it and they're onto the Switch. So the Switch does both very well. So it's like, I'm just kind of wondering, like, where going forward, how much longer the 3DS is really going to hang on before they like fully just go, all right, the Switch is both now. Like, we're going to just go handheld. Anything we were going to do handheld, because we already know the next Pokemon game is on the Switch. So like, is it also on 3DS or is it just Switch? Because if it's not on 3DS, then maybe 3DS is done. So.
Oh, I did not think of that at all.
I know. I actually was talking. I was like, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, like, if it's going to take full advantage of like the power that the Switch has, 3DS won't probably be able to run it. So unless they they don't do that, but they've made clear it's like the next Pokemon RPG battle catch 'em kind of game is on the Switch. So it's like maybe 2018, like maybe they're going to support the 3DS through next year maybe, and then kind of like, all right, we're going to veer off and just completely focus on Switch, which, to be honest, I would be happy with as someone that wants to get the Switch, just because some of these games I see going to 3DS, I'm like, oh man, that sucks. I would really like that on the on the Switch.
Switch, yeah. So do you think there's no future for well, let's just say that line of?
See, that's what's so weird with the Switch. I just don't know, because I feel like it does both. So it's like, I don't know if you really. I mean, I guess it's kind of the cheaper version. Well, not really cheaper version, but like it's a cheaper way into Nintendo. So I guess it does have a place, but at the same time, I'm like, eventually the Switch will probably, imagine, at least get like a bundles with games, or like a price drop down to like $249 from $299. So maybe eventually it'll be a little. I mean, and it does, obviously it's more powerful. So, or maybe they'll make a different one that's not. I don't know what they would actually do, but
you think they could do like the Xbox One, Xbox S, the S and the X, unlike the PS4 and PS4 Pro kind of thing, where like we're gonna make this one game, like we're gonna make Metroid, but there'll be a 3DS version and a Switch version. The 3DS version just won't be I'm gonna say not as good, but there'll be a quality difference.
Like it's like it's.
You still can play both.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
I then again, it's hard to develop because you would always have to keep the second screen. Like you have to keep the second screen in mind.
So, yeah. So unless you made that second screen like an afterthought, kind of like just like, oh, this is just like what you would see if you push pause. Like that's basically it. Then I could maybe see it. I don't know. I don't know. I wonder. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I thought maybe originally when they announced this, they were just kind of like, okay, the Wii U. Like they were still like, oh yeah, we're still supporting the Wii U and the 3DS. But I thought maybe like once Switch came out, they'd be like, yeah, we're going to support them. Like we'll keep the online stuff running for the games that are on it, but we're really not going to release a bunch of software. But where that's happened with the Wii U. They've kind of just like, all right, Wii U's done. See you later. 3DS, they've still announced a few things. So it's like, okay. So they're still kind of supporting the 3DS, but I think it was kind of telling on their E3 thing that like it was just Switch. Everything was Switch.
Yeah.
It was basically just Switch. So I'm wondering if, and a lot of it was like, oh, this is 2018, other than Mario, and like I think Fire Emblem was the other game, but it's Splatoon, I think maybe was on it. But it almost seems like 2018 is like when they're really gonna push the Switch as like, this is our thing now, the Switch, because our online stuff is coming, and we got, you know, all these other games coming, Metroid, Pokemon, like, you know, and I'm sure they'll announce more stuff. So it's like, maybe, I don't know, maybe 3DS is done after this year. I don't know. They haven't said that, obviously, because they don't obviously want to, you know, cut their legs off too early. But
yeah,
or maybe they'll just kind of use this like, oh, this is squarely
it's
for like, you know, like just a cheap entryway into our franchises, and it already has a big library. So
this will get the kids in, and then
right,
once it ends, the Switch is like mommy and daddy's and like the teenagers console or handheld.
right.
So yeah.
Real talk.
Like I said, I wish I had the R. Kelly song, Real Talk. They just play him just saying Real Talk. But yeah, I mean, as of, I guess, closing statements, like I said, I enjoy my Switch. I'm happy. I don't regret. Like I always had that fear that I was gonna regret buying it, because it was very like on a whim. Like it was kind of like I didn't have the money saved. I didn't put the money away. It's not something it was just kind of like I have money to pay for it if I see it. I'm like, I knew Mario Kart comes out. I think I got lucky because that's when everybody announced, okay, Mario Kart's coming on Friday. That's when we're gonna have more Switches, you know. And you know, if you want to Switch, you better come on Friday. And I remember it was Thursday. I was off that day, and I just went to Target for something. I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just go back there and look. This is like 8 in the morning. Let me just go look. And they had one neon and like 3 grays, 3 or 4 gray ones. And like the neon was like in another cabinet. Like all the grays were together, and the neon was like off in one other cabinet. And I was just like, yeah, yep, gonna buy that. So
right.
know, I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. And like I just don't know what it is about this console that made me feel that way, because I have not cared since GameCube. I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I can't remember why I started at me buying the Switch. It's the silence, but like the silence. But no, I just think it's a fantastic console. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just that Nintendo. Maybe this console just has that Nintendo magic that hasn't been around in a while.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, when you grow up around Nintendo, you're like, oh, so there's something new Nintendo. Oh, what's it gonna be? And then like, I don't know. Just the other thing too is like when the Switch came out, everyone was talking about Zelda. Like, oh my god, this may be one of the best Zeldas ever, if not the best. And like it was getting 10s and perfect scores, and people were like, oh, game of the year. And like I was just like, oh man, I wish I would have my pre-order. But I'm like, all right, well, once more games come out, I'll get one. I'll still be able to play Zelda. That'll be fine. And then like now I'm like, crap, I can't find one to save my life if I wanted to. Like the thing is, you can get them on Amazon, but they're like $500, and I'm like, well, I ain't paying $500 for a freaking Switch when it's $300. It's like, not happening. Like I can wait. I'm not gonna spend any extra money, but yeah, because like I remember when you got it, you were just like I remember you really didn't even talk, and all of a sudden like, look what I got, and we're like, what? You got a Switch? Like, yeah, I found one at, you know, and we're like, oh, cool, like, and then literally it was like Zelda all week, and so
I went to a hole.
Yeah, because I remember we were getting ready to like record SPR, and then like all of a sudden you're just like on your Switch. We're like, are you gonna be on this podcast? You just be playing Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, like if Injustice 2 didn't come out, I would probably barely use my PS4. Like that, because I love DC so much and I love fighting games. Like if that game didn't come out, it would just be all Switch. So
if it would have came out on Switch, would you have gotten it there instead of PS4?
Don't know. I don't know, actually. That's a hard one. Just because
I was saying it's probably a hard question, but Because that's the thing is that I'm waiting for is like I just want to see some of these like third parties coming like, okay, you want Battlefront 2 on this? I mean, the thing is those games, I don't know if how they would run though. They'd have to be. I don't know. That's the one thing is because I do know the Switch is not nearly as powerful as like the Xbox One or the PS4, like just the base ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the thing is, they do such a good job because like Zelda looks great. Like so, I like to me it looks just as good as any Xbox One or PS4 game. Like it doesn't look good as like Horizon Zero Dawn or something, but it's definitely looks still really, really good for something that supposedly is not as powerful. So,
I always figured that they would just like the third party would just make like games specifically for the Switch, not like say, okay, we're gonna make Assassin's Creed Origins on the Switch, as opposed to doing that, they'll say, we're gonna make a separate Assassin's Creed, or maybe like a side-scrolling Assassin's Creed, or like a Breath of the Wild-ish Assassin's Creed, like something specific for the Switch, not like we want to have a one-to-one version of a game we have on the PS4 or Xbox.
Yeah, kind of I could see that. I could definitely see that. Like just like say Activision's like, oh, we're gonna make Call of Duty, but we're gonna make Call of Duty for the Switch, not like it's not gonna be the same as World War II or whatever the one is now. So like I guess I mean it would be really cool if they made Destiny for it, but I don't know if I'd unless it was crossplay with Xbox. I don't know if I could. I don't think I would switch, but just because obviously that game's kind of relying on playing with your friends, so. Mm-hmm. At least I have the most fun. So it's like, but if it was crossplay, like Rocket League or something else, then I'd be like, okay, maybe at this point I would be like, screw it, I'm just gonna play on the Switch. Even if it doesn't look as good, I might just be like, you mean I can just lay in bed and play some Destiny? Like, okay, cool. Like that'd be cool. Like, but the thing is, at the same time, Nintendo is just like I said, they're just pros at making first party content for it. So it's like. It's almost like you don't need the third party. And like you said, the indies are kind of like jumping onto this thing like, oh, hey, like look, people are digging indies on this because you don't have to play them on your TV. You can take them on the go, kind of like the Vita did. It's almost kind of taken over where the Vita left off. Where it's like, that was an indie machine, but now it's like the Switch is like, yeah, you can play all your favorite like franchises from Nintendo plus those. And then everyone's like, oh, so wait, you're saying you're doing what the like Vita, everyone's like, oh, it didn't have enough first-party support. The Switch is doing what the Vita did, but they're giving it first-party support. So it's like, which I think is what you were kind of getting to earlier. So
yeah,
it's almost like it's almost like they've looked at what all these other things, like including themselves, have done, and like, all right, how do we put this all together and make this like work? And like the Wii U, the ideas they had there, the Vita, they kind of look at what they did there, the 3DS. Like, how do we take all of this and just make it one cohesive, well-working thing? And then they're like, boom, the Switch. And like it's been doing well. And I like I said, I'm kind of bummed I didn't keep my pre-order, but at the same time I'm like, okay, it's okay, because I wouldn't really it would have been kind of a after Zelda, I don't know if I would have gone too crazy with the indies, just because, but then again, I don't know, maybe I'd have been like how you are, where you're like you weren't planning to get a bunch of games on it probably right away, so you're probably like, oh, I'll just play Zelda, that's fine. But then like you're like, oh, I want to play things on this, so it's like,
yeah, I think as of now, I have like maybe 10 games. I think I might have 10 games on it, 8 or 10. I think it might be 8. Because like I'll see a game like that looks cool. I want to play it handheld. I'll just buy it.
Right. Because those things like Mario Kart, I was like, it's the one I already played on Wii U. But like then Mark brought it over, I was like, God damn, this is good. Like I've missed playing this. Like, oh man, this would have been fun to play. Like, and then now he has one, so it's like, oh, we could have played online and stuff like that. So it's like, now I want it. Like, I don't know if they're gonna how long till Mario Kart 9 or whatever it would be is coming out. So it's like, but this one they did a good job of updating it to make it look better and adding the battle modes and stuff like that, and adding new characters and making it feel new. So it's like, I'm wondering what other games they'll do with that like that, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. This good game, Nintendo. Good game.
Well played.
Well played, Nintendo. You somehow sucked everyone back in.
Just when we thought you were dead, you were bleeding out, you just rose from the flames.
Just like there's like people are just burying them alive, and they're just like, nope, stick that hand right out of the dirt and just pull themselves out of their grave. And like, we got something for you to fix this. Just give us Virtual Console. Just give us the deets. Like, I don't care if it doesn't come out like tomorrow. I understand, but like, give us the deets. Let us know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say a good analogy is for anybody who's seen The Dark Knight Rises, and spoiler for Dark Knight Rises. You remember like Alfred was saying like, yeah, Master Bruce, I want just one day to be on a trip in like Italy or somewhere, and I sit down and then I look over and it's you and your wife or something bullshit like that.
Yep.
And like I feel like all these years, like we're like in the Batman years, like the Wii and the Wii U, like the Batman, like the dark years, and we're all Alfred, like, God, I just want you to have a better life. And then like the Switch is just like us, like we're just in Italy right now, and like we look over and it's just like it'll be kind of creepy, but like a Switch Bruce Wayne Switch. It just turns over and looks at us.
It's it's just a list of, it's like Mario, or it's like Super Mario Odyssey, and it's just like quotes it like Super Mario 64 and open world Zelda, and they're like, oh my God.
It's just Mario sitting next to a Switch, and they both just look over at us, and we're just like, we just walk away.
We're just like, finally,
the Nintendo Switch rises.
Yeah.
So well, that's like on that note, that bad analogy.
Yeah, that was actually a good analogy. I liked it.
So wait, who's Bane then? Is it the Xbox?
I guess so.
We broke the Nintendo.
We broke into, yeah, actually I almost feel like Bane would be like Wii U, just because this is like, you know, they were like coming off the success of the Wii, and everyone's like, yeah, Nintendo, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is what you got. Like,
I ruined this franchise.
Right. Yeah, because like
that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that statement, but that might be Real Talk Part 2.
Real Talk Part 2.
The Dark Knight trilogy.
Just make a trilogy out of it.
No, I'm talking like the Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Rises. I'd say Dark Knight trilogy, whatever. That'd be a good Real Talk. That'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah,
that might be a pretty good. Well, that's for production meet. That's for production.
Hey,
meeting.
Teasers.
Yeah, it's like maybe you and Steve will do a Destiny Real Talk. That'll be that'll be a day long.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
The multicast special Real Talk.
Why the multicast Real Talk?
Yeah,
that's
like an 8-day long podcast.
Exactly. It would just be Destiny 2 would be out by the time we were done.
Oh, you guys doing like the night before? Like, oh, you guys should do that. Well, we're talking about, we'll do that all once.
Maybe that's the production meeting after this. It's like, hey, maybe we should,
Yeah, damn, that's a great idea. Yeah. So
I like it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I guess I got a host. So if you follow us on Facebook, like us or whatever, Tony is on Twitter. He's at Tony Brown because he somehow snagged that one up. He's Omega Sanction _ on Instagram. He Instagrams. And then I am Leviathan426 on Twitter. You can also follow Same Person Radio on Twitter. Podbean.com Podbean.samepersonradio.com, I believe, is the Podbean site. We're on iTunes. We're on pretty much everywhere but Stitcher, because Stitcher is a bitcher.
Is this going up like a normal podcast, or is this going to stay on YouTube?
Actually, you know what? I might just leave this as a YouTube. So,
all right.
You know, actually, it's not too hard to rip it. I might just rip it off. Who cares? I mean, we didn't do anything like video. Like some of our podcasts, literally, like we're like doing like stuff on screen, and like I listen to them on like Mondays, and I'm always just like, yeah, I don't know what's going. I know what's going on, but I'm like, anyone's listening to this is be like, wait, what the fuck are they talking about? It's like,
yeah, what the hell is going on here?
Like, so, trying to think, did I forget anything? Same Twitter, got that, got Facebook, got podcast, YouTube, which, you know, well, eventually someday we'll have youtube.com/samepersonradio, but for now, because YouTube changes their thing, don't have that. So just search the Same Person Radio. It should be like the first thing that pops up.
And our two hosts, they're missing right now. So if you happen to find them, let us know.
Yeah, if you find if we fail missing persons report for a Stephen Galvin and a Brandon Coffrin, if you've seen them, let us know.
I'm gonna just put a picture of both of them on a milk carton, and hopefully there's no reward, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, maybe they'll pop up on Twitter. Steven's at Galvin93. Brandon is actually a ghost. It's not having. Well, I think he has a Twitter. I don't know. I don't know if he actually uses it. So,
he's a drifter. He doesn't. He exists.
He doesn't
stay on one. Yeah, he doesn't stay on one single social media. He drifts.
He exists on Same Person Radio and only on Same Person Radio. He's just a figment of our imaginations.
He's the sixth. He's the Bruce Willis to our Haley Joe. Is it Haley Joe Osment?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's the Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy? Okay, we're just talking. We're just bullshitting now.
he's wherever our two hosts are. He's where our two co-hosts.
Yeah. We're not inferring Brandon's dead in that we're seeing dead people, but it's like that is what we're saying.
Yeah. Maybe is Haley Joe? Is he Sora? Was he Sora? Who was it in Kingdom Hearts?
I think he was.
Or he's somewhere trying to get his voice. He's somewhere trying to make his voice sound more kiddish now, so he can get a job back again.
Yeah, actually, is he doing Kingdom Hearts 3?
I don't even know.
Here, now I mean, just not to go back into the podcast, but Kingdom Hearts 3 on Switch would be real nice.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and all the other.
Ooh, yeah, because there was a Kingdom Hearts on the DS. I know that.
And Kingdom Hearts, yeah,
something.
Yeah, basically, if they just combine all the Kingdom Hearts after 2, isn't that basically like a 3 at this point? They've had like
to be honest, I got like so confused after there's like, oh, there's a mobile game, and then we got this PSP game. We got I'm like, are these the same thing, just different? And like, no, they're different. It's like, well, then what are they? I don't know what's going on in the story no more. Although it's been so long since 2, which was the last one I played and beat, that I don't even know what's going on anyways. I have to like revisit it anyways.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't remastered 1 and 2 yet. Which I'm sure.
Yeah, I thought they did for the PS4. Maybe I'm thinking of Final Fantasy X. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Because I know
it's 10. It's 10.
Yeah, because I was at Best Buy the one day and I was just like, well, let's see what games they have. And then I was like, because I was trying to just like play the game, like, hey, look at all these games I could play on the PS4, honey. And she's just like, yeah, you have a backlog like a mile long on Xbox, so you can just not get that.
So breaking news. The reason our co-hosts on here is because they're voicing Goofy and is it Don? Wait, I just got to mix. I got Daffy and Donald mixed up. Donald. Is it Donald Duck? Yeah, Donald Duck.
Yeah, it's Donald. Yep.
Yeah, they're voicing Goofy and Donald Duck with Haley Joe Osment as Sora.
Hey, they did remaster them.
Really?
Something. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5, 2.5 remix, PlayStation 4.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. I thought that was just Final Fantasy X. And then there's what the hell is this? Then there's another one. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8, Final Chapter, Prologue Limited Edition. See, that's what I'm talking about. They went like crazy with Kingdom Hearts. Like, they're like, hey, here's 2.8. Like, there should never be a 2.8 of any game.
They're like, you know what? We can't make 3, but we can make like 8 other 2s. 8.
Right.
8.
Like, they're going to release one more. 2.99. Like, yeah. This is basically 3, just not yet.
So when they get to 4, like, by the time 4 comes, it'll be 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. God, I'm surprised. Spoiler alert for everybody in the park who's listening to this. Me and Brandon live together now, so I'm surprised he might be asleep right now. I'm surprised he didn't make a comment since he probably hears me talking about him right now. So
yeah, I'm surprised like Steven didn't drop in at one point, but he's probably busy.
Yeah, he's upset.
He's hoping. He's hoping he's busy. All right, with that, we're gonna sign off. SPR on Sunday, because it's not Father's Day. And we might record it earlier than normal because I think Brandon said he has stuff to do. But
yeah, here's a baptism.
He's getting baptized. Wow, he's baptized himself. Nice.
He's baptizing somebody.
Oh, he's baptized. Jeez, can you baptize Phoenix for me? Because he needs to get baptized.
No, his rates are a little high.
His rates are a little high.
You know, the Lord doesn't come cheap, I guess.
So SPR Sunday. I believe we're just going to talk about video game stuff in general Sunday, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just get drunk at 8 in the morning. I don't care.
we just stream this video in the Hangouts again.
Yeah, and then a week from tomorrow, if you're watching this live, or if you're listening or whatever later. Week from Friday, so basically June 30th, I'll be in DC. So we'll probably be doing a bunch of stuff. So look forward to that. And I think that probably should be it. So
that is it.
Thanks for watching. Adios.
See you guys.